Welcome to AER Int channel and welcome back to Surface Modeling course. In this video, we are going to use all of those sketches that we've made in the last video. We had something like this, all the different profiles of the spoon. We start off with the boundary surface, select the tool from the Surfaces tab, and we want to choose just a single arc in the sketch. But if we click on it like this, we'll end up selecting the whole sketch, and we don't want that. So I'm going to clear that selection. And before we select anything, let's right-click in empty space in the graphics area and choose Selection Manager. This will let us just select certain entities in the sketch. We should get a little pop-up menu like this. We want to choose this one, Select Group. This is the one that's got a multiple cursors stacked on it. So choose the option, and then just select this arc on the left, and then press OK. And now we've just selected the arc instead of the whole sketch. Then for the direction too, let's click in the selection box. And then let's choose this cross-sectional part of the head, just this arc here. And as we do, we see a preview of the surface like this. We can leave all of the default setting as the arc, and then press OK. And we'll make the surface like this. And we've now added the head of the spoon there. Next up, we're going to make the handle, and for this we're going to use a loft. So let's go to lofted surface. Then for the profile, I'm going to choose the left-hand edge of this arc here, and also the corresponding left-hand edge of this one up here. And we should get a preview like this. Try to make sure we choose roughly the corresponding place on each of the arcs. If we find that our preview doesn't appear, it might just be that our loft is a bit twisted. So if so, we can move the screen connectors so they line up in a straight line like this. If we look at the preview from the side like this, we can see it's very a strange loft, but we wanted a little curve on that handle. And we can add this using guide curves and that side profile sketch that we drew. But at the moment, we can't see that sketch. That's because we used that sketch in the previous feature in that boundary surface feature. So when we used it, it was automatically hidden. We can still use it in this feature. It can be shared between multiple features. But first, we just have to re-show it. So let's expand this second feature tree. Let's find that sketch. For me, it was sketch 2. So it should be underneath the boundary surface feature. So if we expand that feature, we should see the sketches until there. Let's click on the one we want and just press show. And now we can see it in the graphics area. So now we can use it for the guide curve. Clicking the guide curves box here on the left, and then just click on that profile sketch. And we should get a preview like this. So we've got a nice flowing curve down along the handle there. And then we can press OK to create that surface. Next up, we'll join the two surfaces. And then we want to select the axis of the surfacing surfaces, Surface Loft tool. So select the Surface Loft tool. And then we want to select the edges of the existing surfaces rather than a sketch profile that we've already drawn. This will just allow us to use the tangency control to give a nice smooth join between the surfaces. Now, if we have any of the previous sketch to show in, for example, sketch 4 showing like this, when we try select the edge of the loft, we may accidentally select the sketch instead, because it's exactly over the top of the edge. So if we find this is happening, if we are selecting the sketch instead of the edge, what we can do is just turn off the sketches temporarily by clicking this option here, Hide All Types. And that will just turn off the visibility of everything like the sketches and the planes. We can then select the edge that we want. So let's click around here on the edge, and then click around on the corresponding area on this edge. And we should see the edge is joined with the preview like this. We can then re-show the sketches and the edges if we need to, but we click on that same portion again, then Hide All Types button. Now before we press OK, to make that surface, we could quite sharp join between that loft and the two other surfaces. So let's expand the start and end constraints, and let's change both of them, the tangency to phase, and that will give us a much smoother transition between the three phases. By creating the surfaces in this order, with these lofted joints in the middle at the end, it just means that we can make this loft tangent to both surfaces on each side. If we made the head first, and then made this joining section, and then made the final piece of the handle, it would just be tricky at that final transition, and still keep both the tangency that we want, also the correct guide curve on the side. But by making in this order, it's quite easy to do all that. So let's press OK to add that new surface. The model is sort of looking like a spoon at the moment, maybe more look like a shovel, but if we look closely, we might be able to see that the end of the handle it's a little bit short. Luckily, this is very quick fix. We can extend this using Extend Surfaces tool. That's here on the Surfaces tab. Then we'll choose the edge to extend, which is this end edge. And then just set the value so that the extended edge totally covers that top profile. So for me, 10mm, extend the edge completely past that top profile. and then press OK. And we've added that new section. Next up, we can trim away the excess material, and that will bring out the shape of the spoon. But before we do that, we'll knit the surfaces together so that one single surface. Let's go to Knit Surfaces, select the 3 surfaces, and then we don't need to select any of these options, just press OK. So now we just have one single surface that's roughly in the shape of the spoon, and we can trim away the excess. Let's go to Trim Surfaces, choose the standard option. For the trim tool, let's choose that first sketch, the top profile, and then we use Remove Selection, and then we just want to click the areas we want to remove. So for me, when we clicked it, it's like the entire area. Depending on how far we extended the handle of the top, we might need to click a few different areas to trim away all of the excess. But when it looks good, press OK. And now we'll really brought out the shape of the spoon there. And if I turn off the sketch, we can really see the shape of the spoon there. To finish this off, we'll continue into Solid by using Thicken. Let's select Thicken up here. Let's choose the surface. We'll thicken on both sides, and for the thickness, let's choose 1mm. And then press OK. And that we have created our solid spoon. So as we said, it's quite a simple part, but we practiced a few different things. In this video, we use all of the sketches from the previous video. First, we created a boundary surface to make the head or the bowl of the spoon, and we use the selection manager, so just select one single entity from the sketch. Next up, we use the lofted surface to make the handle, and we use the guide curve to give it us a slide curve. Then we join the handle and the head using another lofted surface, and this allowed us to make transition tangent to each other, so they were nice and smooth. The handle was a little short at the top, so we extended that using extend surfaces. Then we knitted everything together. We used the trimmed surfaces with a sketch to cut away the excess material, and that reveals the spoon shape, so we finally used Thicken to make that surface into a solid. We've now covered the majority of the surface tools and techniques. In the next section, we start going over some tools that are a bit more niche, maybe unused as much, and we'll start off with the flatten tool. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like. I hope it can be a little helpful and useful.